started today on the back, and I recommend taking a pillow or a rolled blanket and laying on it the length of your spine. So if you have like a bolster, that could be good, or if you have a squishy ball, you could place that behind the rib cage and support the head on something. So make sure you've got head support if you're leaning back on an object. You can do whatever you want with your legs. They could be long or maybe feet together. And the arms might be out by the sides, or perhaps you bring the palms to rest on the abdomen. And closing the eyes. And if you're just joining us now, you can come to lay down on the back, maybe on a long rolled blanket, along the length of the spine, the back of the head. Taking in some breath. And letting the shoulders soften. Encouraging the jaw to also be a bit relaxed. And giving yourself a moment to arrive in your body here. Now, bring awareness to the breath, and in particular the breath that moves into the back of the body. So encourage some expansion of ribs in the back, especially in the space where you have contact between the back and that rolled blanket or bolster or pillow, whatever's behind you. And as you breathe into the back ribs, letting them fan down and out towards the floor. See if you can notice what kind of after effects are present because of it. In other words, what other parts of the body moves or doesn't move as you attempt to breathe into the back ribs, back of the shoulders. And take another 2 conscious breaths. You're welcome to set an intention for yourself using a sankalpa, a mantra, or maybe using the breath as your focal point. So clarifying an intention for the next hour or so. And then we'll take 3 breaths together. Let's start with an exhale. Let all the ribs gather in, breathing out, letting the breath go. Then fill in towards a big inhale, breathing down into the back, down into the floor. 1, widen those back ribs. Exhale, let out a sigh when you're ready. And 2 more, full inhale. And full exhale. 1 more full breath in. Exhale, sigh. And you can let the breath come back to natural and staying on this support of the bolster, pillow, or blanket. You'll bring the arms out wide in a cactus-like shape so the elbows are bent to about a 90 degree. And again, you can do whatever you want with the legs. They can be in whatever position you'd like. On your next inhale, slowly let the arms travel along the floor as you bring the fingertips overhead towards touching. So the shoulder blades are gliding up as the fingertips come towards touching along the floor, over the top of the head. Yeah, and then slowly exhale as the elbows bend, letting the arms be heavy on the floor and the elbows come towards the side. They might not touch the sides, that's fine. And then inhale, arms go overhead again, fingertips towards touching. And continue this, exhale, elbows bend as you pull the arms down towards the sides. So as you continue this motion, see if you can sense any movement of the back of the shoulders, the shoulder blades. There are 2 triangular bones that glide up and down and a little side to side on the back of the rib cage. So as you notice that back shoulder zone and the arms do this motion, now you might add a little arm hover. So letting the arms hover off the floor. Unless, of course, they were already hovering, that's possible. Sometimes because of limited mobility or other factors, the arms might not come all the way down to the floor. So we're exploring an arm hover now, intentionally. Feeling perhaps a little bit of work through the pec side of the arm, the front chest, front of the shoulder, as we feel the sense of gravity and the weight of the arms. And let's take 2 more. The elbows pull down towards the sides, and then the arms go up overhead. We'll do this motion again, but in different ways today when we do sliding and a bit of weight work. All right, slowly bring the arms down by the sides. Now arms can straighten and create some shoulder rolls. So rolling the shoulders up towards the ears, squeezing the shoulders together to try and grip the thing that's behind your spine, and then draw the shoulders down so you're reaching the fingers towards the feet. And then squeeze the shoulders together in front of you. It's like hunching them forward. And again, shoulders up towards the ears. Oof. Squeeze them together and draw them down and together and forward. So you might feel stuff along the collarbone. You might feel it up at the very top of the shoulder and neck. You might feel it in the back or the side. The shoulder is super complex. All right, change directions now. Squeeze behind you, trying to grip onto that thing behind the spine, and then pull the shoulders up towards the earlobes. Hug the shoulders forward, hunching forward, and then reach the fingertips down. Two more slow shoulder circles. Working with whatever you've got. All right. from here, last little bit before we come upright. Bring the arms out in front of you, reaching them up towards the ceiling like a zombie. Yep, and then bend the elbows so the forearms come closer towards the face. And flip the palms towards the ceiling. Yep, great, like you're holding a tray on the palms, hovering it above the face. All right, from here you're gonna reach the fingertips towards the wall behind your head. So the arms straighten along the ears. And then as you exhale, bend the elbows, hug the forearms in towards one another. As you slide that tray down over the top, over the chest. And then reach that tray in front of the face and overhead. And we'll go 2 more of those. Pull, 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 elbows hug in. And reach long. We're going to do this motion with sliding. It'll feel different when we're on hands and knees, so just get a sense for what it feels like now. And fantastic. You can slowly relax the arms down, take another big breath. And slowly come off of that object. Good. And we'll actually stay on the back. I want to make sure we get some core work in. So just come off of that support that was behind your spine. And then come down to lay again on the back, hug the knees in. Bring the fingertips behind the skull. And then as you inhale, full breath, breathing into those back ribs down on the floor. Exhale, curl the head and chest up as you round the knees in towards the head. Inhale, reach the knees away from you, head and shoulders go down. Exhale, curl in and up. So good old crunches just for a couple times here, and then we'll turn it into a bicycle. So keeping the elbows wide, see what that feels like. Now the next time that you curl in, pause there. Reach the right leg long and away from you. Turn the chest towards the left. Right elbow comes towards left knee. Boom. Inhale, comes center with the head and chest. Right knee comes in. Exhale, twist to the right. Turning left elbow towards right knee, reaching left leg away. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center. Exhale, rotate to the right. Seeing if you can attempt to keep the elbows, or keep the shoulders nice and lifted. It might be harder than you want it to be, but you feel what you feel and you try. Ugh. Feel free to increase the pace if you'd like to. Let's go 3 more. Good, and then slowly come through center and relax down. Feet to the floor, knees bent, arms down by the side, bridge lift up. Breathe into the abdomen, the back ribs. Good, slowly release the hips down. Lift the feet off the floor, fingertips behind the head. Curl head, chest up, shoulders lift, reach the left leg long, turn the chest towards the right. This time, karate chop the left arm over and in front of the right leg. So you've got a contact between the outer left arm and the outer right thigh. Breathe there, reach the left fingertips further away towards that wall in front of you. Press the right thigh out into the arm, whew. Press the right arm in towards the thigh. Breathe. Lift the shoulders any distance higher. And slowly come through center. Rotate towards the left. Reach the right leg long. Karate chop the right arm across the left thigh. Yes, finding contact, breathe. Press the arm out, press the leg out, or, press them into each other. Ooh, feel that in your body. Let your intention filter in. Ooh. You can always tap down that right foot or keep it hovered for a bit more challenge. One more breath. And come through center. Feet to the floor, knees bent, bridge lift up. All right, rock and roll, make your way on up. And here you'll need some knee padding and your sliders. So Emily, for our props today, you'll need some sliding surfaces. So if you're on hardwood floor, you'll need a blanket or a towel. And I've got knee padding because my knees are sensitive. If you're on carpet, you'll use some plastic Tupperware lids or furniture sliders. Or there's even a thing as a workout slider. All right, so from here, hands and knees. Let's do sliding first and then we'll do the band stuff later. All right, left hand to the slider, right hand to the floor, so you're in a tabletop. Start to reach the left arm away, so you're pushing the slider away towards the front wall. Right elbow bends, so your chest and head come down towards the floor. Pause there. Heavy down the left palm into the object, so you can sense perhaps some work happening underneath the left armpit. And then slowly pull the object back underneath the left shoulder. And the chest comes through tabletop. Reach the left arm away, pushing slider away. Chest comes down, right elbow can bend. And exhale, pull in. Heavy down that left hand, like you're pressing it into sand. Let's go 3 more. You can go a little bit out wide to the left. Meaning some other fibers of that left tricep and left latissimus dorsi, one of the big pulling muscles on the back. You can also cross the object in front of the face and go a little towards the right. Go nice and slow as you really focus on heavying the hand. And the hips try and stay in place. That's going to create some extra challenge to the work of this arm. Ugh. If your wrist gets fatigued or something's going on there, you can always come down onto the forearm. Okay, same thing, you just probably won't be able to go as far. All right. Place the left hand down onto the floor, no slider, tuck the toes under, lift up, downward facing dog. Feel any difference between left arm and right arm. It's okay if you don't notice anything at all, that's possible. Pull your body forward towards a plank for a moment. Tap down the knees. Inhale, lift head, chest, tail, cow pose. Exhale, tuck the tail. Sternum moves towards the ceiling as you curl the chin towards the chest. Cat. One more inhale, cow. Exhale, round. Good. Bring the slider underneath the right hand now, so you're underneath the right shoulder with the right hand and slider. Inhale, push away, straight ahead. Let the left elbow bend so you can come closer towards the floor with the head and chest. Heavy, heavy, the right hand down, pressing firm into the floor like you want to press that palm down into the basement. And then start to pull that object towards you as you come up through tabletop. Push away. Feel free to explore different vectors, different angles with that arm. The hips try and stay in place to encourage some more challenging work to the right shoulder. If this is too intense on the floor, you can always do this on the wall. Same idea, you'll just stand in front of a wall, put a blanket on the wall with one hand, same idea, okay? It's a little bit harder to push up on the wall, but give it a go if this is too much. Let's go one or two more. And then come back through tabletop, slider off to the side. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. In your down dog, let's come back to those shoulder circles. So draw the shoulder blades up towards the earlobes. Pull the shoulder blades down by the hips. Try and squeeze the shoulder blades together behind the back. And also try and hug the fronts of the shoulders together, trying to curl the collarbones in. And then roll through all four of those, just once or twice in each direction. This can be done on tabletop, knees down if down dog is not feeling good today. Good, and then do tap down the knees, come towards tabletop for a breath, maybe a cat-cow. Okay, locate your resistance band if you have a looped one. If you don't have a looped resistance band, you can use a hand weight or a heavy block. I'll show both options depending on what kind of props you have. Okay, so I'll show first the resistance band. Loop the right thumb through the band, so the band kind of wraps around that meaty pad of your thumb. And then place the right hand down to the floor firm so that the band is captured with your right thumb pressing down. And then with your left hand, you'll grip around the opposite end of the looped band. Let's see if this is gonna work. You know, I think a more stable positioning will be this. You take your right hand, you thread it through so that it wraps around the top four knuckles and the thumb is on the top of the band. I think that'll be better. Yeah, that looks good, Anka. Okay, so that'll be a bit more secure. Then you place the palm down. So now it's wrapped around the top side of the hand and the wrist. Hold on with the left hand and start to slide, or excuse me, open the left arm out wide to the left. Left arm straight. Yes, yeah, see if that left elbow can stay really long so that we can focus. Yeah, so we can focus through that outer left shoulder and outer left arm. Try that a couple times. Your arm might not come as wide as you can without the band. Just see what it's like to be more in this mid-range region. If you're not working with a band, but you have a hand weight, right hand goes underneath the shoulder, weight held in the left hand. You'll try and keep the elbow straight as you lift the arm out wide to the left, like so. Maybe even coming a little forward or back. So you can do the same thing with the band. forward, go a little back, woo. Go forward, back, holy smokers. Good, then we'll add in a little elbow bend. So letting the elbow bend, start to pull the weight or the band out wide to the left. So now we have also some forearm and bicep stuff working. And let's go 2 more, pulling perhaps in different directions. And the last little option here, you'll take the left leg and go out wide to the left with that foot. And then pull. You can pull with arms straight or elbow bent. And let a little rotation happen with the chest, turning the chest towards the left. Pressing that right hand down nice and firm. 2 to 3 more. Breathing, feeling what you feel here through that left arm, left shoulder. And then slowly coming down with that left knee and the hands props off to the side. Grab for your slider. So if you're using a blanket, make sure it's wide enough to have both hands on it. Both hands, so slightly, maybe shoulder distance or a little bit wider. If you're on 2 individual sliders, like 2 Tupperware lids, then just have 2 ready to go. If you don't have 2, you can do 1 at a time, that's fine. All right, from here, don't worry, we're gonna get into the resistance band stuff from the other side in a moment, but as a transition here, both palms onto sliders. Start to push the slider away. Chest will slowly come down towards the floor, a little bit by little bit. There's a point where the chest will want to drop all the way to the floor because gravity becomes really heavy. So you'll pause there for a moment, sink the palms and fingertips down into the sliders. See if you can keep the hips where they are. And pull the wrists towards the knees as you come back up into tabletop. Yes, let's go again. Push away, arms stay relatively straight. Focus more on pushing the object. And when you think you can't go any further without flopping down or shifting the hips, then pause there, press palms down in, hug wrists, pulling them in towards the knees and upright you come. 1 more, pushing away. Nice and slow, feeling gravity, the reality of our planetary life. And then really good feedback. Gravity is really good feedback for how to sense humanity. All right, when you come upright, you can shift the sliders off to the side for a moment. Grab for your resistance band or your hand weight, whatever you were using. If you've got a resistance band, you're going to slide. Take your left hand, slide it through the loop, but not the thumb, so it wraps around the top of the knuckles. Okay, place that left palm down underneath left shoulder, stamping the band down into the ground. Grab your fingers, wrap them around the opposite end of the band and start to pull away. It's like you're making some stracciatella or playing with some big Play-Doh or something, pulling weeds out of the garden. You went swimming in the lake and there's some ivy or greens that are caught on your fingers. All right, start with the arms straight so the elbow is trying to stay straight and feeling what that feels like through the back of the right shoulder, back of the right arm. Yep, you can go in different directions. You can reach that hand back by the right hip. You can reach it forward, out wide to the side, and then explore a little bit of an elbow bend. So different muscles working to make that happen. One direction might feel better than the other. And that's interesting stuff to notice for yourself. Why does it feel better? Does it feel better because it's more familiar? Does it feel better because there's different sensation? Okay, now option to reach that right leg out wide to the right, planting down to the side, and explore a bit of rotation and pulling here. Yes, pull, pull, pull. Back of the arm, back shoulder. Go in different directions, maybe two more. Feel what you feel. And slowly come down. Bring that right knee in underneath the hip. Band your weight off to the side. Grab your big sliders. Okay, this time on our slider excursion. Oh, cool. Yeah, Anka, nice creativity using your yoga bag. Super. All right, so this time instead of going straight directional in front, we're gonna go a little angled. So turn your palms a little towards the left. So the fingertips are turned a bit to the left. And start to push to the left a little bit. Palms heavy down. Pause when you get to a place that feels like it's interesting. Heavy down, both hands, noticing that one might feel a little bit different than the other. Trying to keep the elbows straight as you keep the hips where they are. Slowly pull and drag the wrists back towards starting position. Let's go one more to the left here, reaching away. There's a little bit of a side bend on your low back. Right, a little bit of side bend. Heavy, heavy down. See if you can keep the hips in place as you pull using the underarm stuff. Come through center, turn the wrist towards the opposite direction, towards the right. Little side bend in the right low back, right waist. Push away and to the right. Heavy the palms. Pull in and up. Ooh. Nice and slow so you can feel all the good stuff along the way. So if you do a lot of planks, this is great counter stuff to do along with that. It's a lot of focus on the back body and underarms. All right, come through center. And come up to sit for a moment. We haven't even come up to stand or lunge yet. Holy smokes. Take a little circle through your wrists. Okay. So from here, now bring the arms out in front of you like you're placing the palms onto an imaginary wall. Reach the arms overhead, and then exhale, hug the elbows in as you slide down. Wrists can bend. Inhale, reach up, and exhale, slide down, elbows hug in. Wrists can crease down at the bottom. Yeah. Now let's go maybe two more. You can think about pressing the palms into an imaginary wall, or you could actually press them into a wall and glide them down. It's the same idea that we practiced with the sliders. Just now we have a bit of an elbow bend added in. Okay. All right. From here, come onto tabletop. We will be coming down onto the forearms. If you have sensitivity there, you could double up your mat or have a blanket underneath. All right, so palms underneath the shoulders. Breathe, and then see if you can hover the left hand off the floor. Bend the left elbow. Karate chop the left forearm down to the floor underneath the left shoulder-ish. Press down through that left forearm to hover the right hand. Right elbow bends, karate chop right forearm and pinky down. Yes. Press down right forearm. Hover off the left forearm, place left hand underneath left shoulder. Push down through left hand, come up onto right hand. Back into tabletop. Yes, so we're doing a forearm transition. Let's go the opposite direction. Push down left hand. Right palm hovers. Elbow bends on right side, karate chop right hand down. Press down through that forearm to hover left hand. Left forearm comes down. Great. Slowly come back up. Right palm underneath right shoulder, left palm. Let's go one more time. We're going to pause in between. Left forearm comes down. Firm up that left forearm and shoulder. Bring the right forearm down. So pause with both forearms down. Okay, from here you're going to shoulder circle. Shoulders come towards the earlobes. They squeeze together behind you on the back. They draw down towards the hips. And then push the floor away to round them together in front. One more in that direction. Keep the pinkies driving down into the floor. And then change your shoulder circles. Okie dokie. Find a pressing away of the forearms driving down. The back gets a little round. And then even though you're not on sliders, you can imagine pulling the elbows towards the knees. So feel a bit of that work. The elbows pulling towards the knees as the shoulder blades glide down. And then create a little puff of space through the mid and upper back. So maybe a little bit of a cat spine in the upper back. Breathe there for a breath. And then exhale, you can soften and make your way on up to tabletop. Lengthen the legs back behind you, tucking the toes underneath and coming up into a plank pose. From a plank pose, encourage some shoulder circles of the shoulder blades. See how long and strong the spine can stay, and see how long and strong the elbows can stay. Change direction with those shoulder circles. Breathe. Good, and then pause for a moment. Find your strong plank. And tap down the knees. Great, from here we're gonna go into a plank and then transition into the forearms. Before we do that, it might be helpful to widen your feet into a wide-footed plank, okay? If plank to forearms doesn't feel great, then you can do what we did before on the knees, okay? So, and I have blanket underneath my forearms just because they're a little sensitivo. So, in plank, if you're there, widen the feet a little bit wider to give yourself some more stability. Press down into the left hand. Hover the right hand off, trying not to let the hips sway to the left, and come down onto the right forearm. Woo! Push down through right forearm, come down onto left forearm. Yeah. Press down into left forearm, come up onto right palm. Oof. Push up to left palm. Nice. We'll go the opposite direction. direction. Left forearm comes down. Right forearm down. Whoa. Pause here. Push the floor away. Puff, puff into the upper middle back. Draw the elbows towards the toes, the kneecaps. Breathe. And then slowly come up to palm and palm. Oh. Tap down the knees. Press back the hips. Child's pose. Flutter the lips. Breathe out a big sigh. Let the shoulders soften. And from here you can come up through down dog. Lift the right leg up and back. Bend the knee. Pulling the knee in towards the chest. Think about the wrists sliding towards the back of the mat. So you're pulling your body forward to draw that knee forward. One more, reach up and back, three-legged dog. Bend the knee in towards the chest. Pull, imagining the wrists gliding towards that back toe. And then plant that right foot down towards the floor, towards the front of the mat. Whew. So we're in a kneeling lunge. Fingertips towards the tops of the shoulders. Draw the elbows in, up, around, and back and down. We'll just go two more here. If you want a little hip stretch, you can drive the hips forward and tuck the tail underneath. Change directions with the shoulders. Breathe naturally. Maybe close the eyes for a little balance challenge. Or maybe close the eyes to get a little bit more internal to sense the shoulder blades moving on the back ribs. Good. All right, from here you can let the arms hang down for a moment. And opt to grab your hand weight or your looped band. Take the item out in front of you, tuck the tail under, thrust the hips forward, stretch on that front left hip, and a little bit more stability in the legs. Good. Separate the hands. So you've got some wide width into the band, or you're widening the weights away from each other. Good. Then start to move the arms around. Can they go overhead? Can you side bend? Can you side bend the other way? Good. What if you bring them out in front and bend the elbows? Yeah, can you pull the band towards the abdomen or pull the weights back by the waist? And explore here. You've got about 3 breaths to maneuver. You can drive the band around. You can turn the chest a little bit. And then slowly you're going to bring the hands down next to that right foot. So if you've got the band, loop it up into the palm around the left hand, just as we did before. Yeah. If you've got a hand weight, you'll just need one in the right hand, and you'll pull the weight or the band up towards the ceiling as you rotate towards the right. Option to let that right knee kind of widen out towards the right to give a little bit of additional space and or a different sensation through that outer hip. Maybe feeling a stretch through that inner right hip. Last breath here. And slowly come through center. Band and weight off to the side. Sweep that right leg back. Come into a plank or tabletop. We're coming down onto the forearms. Slowly, one at a time. Remember, if you're in plank, you could have the feet wide. Come down onto the forearms. Pause there. And start to imagine sliding the elbows towards the back of the mat. Feel what you feel. Then, option to lift the hips up. So if you're in a plank, forearm plank, you can lift the hips up towards a dolphin-like position. The hands and the forearms want to push away naturally because of the direction of gravity. So you might think about pushing the floor away. And then you might think about the opposite, trying to pull the elbows towards the back of the mat, feeling what you feel through the upper back, arms, and breathe. In your dolphin, you can shift a little forward, pulling your body forward. You can shift a little back, pushing away. Both, pushing and pulling. All right, slowly tap down the knees. Press back into a child's pose, or you can come up to sit the hips down on the heels and rise up through kneeling position for a breath. Check in with your intention there. We'll join in a downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg up and back, three-legged. Bend the knee, pull it in towards the chest. Pull your body weight forward, thinking about the palms sliding towards the back of the mat. Inhale, reach up, pushing the floor away with the hands. Three-legged dog. Exhale, bend the knee, pull it into the chest. Pull your body forward. Step that left foot forward and come upright. Ooh. Grab your weights or your band. Move them around. I'm going to opt for a little bit of an orbiting position. So I'm bringing my hands apart, resistance in the band, and I'm orbiting it close to my chest, far away, and then side to side, thinking about shoulder blades drawing down, elbows going high. But if you're doing something else that feels great and interesting, then keep going. About 3 more breaths. Shoulder, shoulder today. All right, come down with the right hand looped through the band, or you can have a weight in the left hand. Opt to have the left knee wag a bit out wide and rotate, feeling your body moving, your body moving. Feel it breathing. Last breath here. And then you can set those props off to the side. Come into plank for one more time, or tabletop. Plank is a bit more accessible with wide feet here. Come down onto forearm and forearm. Push and pull, shifting your body forward, gliding the shoulder blades around, and then maybe coming up towards a dolphin. Woo. And if you want a serious challenge in dolphin, palms push down into the floor. See if you can hover off the left elbow. Your weight shifts a bit into the right palm, right forearm. And then lean into the left elbow, place it down, and see if you can hover off the right elbow. Yeah, and then place it down. And in dolphin, see if you can hover both elbows. Sometimes it's easier to come from a down dog into it. So if it doesn't feel accessible going from a dolphin towards a down dog, then you can come into down dog and bend the elbows, hugging them in. And this is a bit of a purgatory dog. Woof. So that's a place to work. Yeah, go for it. No, okay, later, homework, yeah. All right, let's go for a shoulder stretch and then we'll chill. So, shoulder stretch today is for the underarm. If you have 2 blocks, place them on the medium height next to each other. If you don't have blocks, then scoot your elbows up towards a chair that's stable, or a couch or a bed. This could even be done standing, okay? Place your elbows onto that object. Palms together. Start to walk the knees or the feet back as the head and chest come a bit closer towards the floor. So elongating the underarms. Inviting breath into the back of the ribs. Ballooning an inhale into the ribs so they move towards the ceiling. And then softening on exhale as the sternum, the front of the chest, glides closer towards the floor. And if you want a bit more intensity, you can take the palms and just press the fingertips. So you separate the palms, but the fingertips are pressing. And that creates a little bit of an external rotation into the shoulders and maybe increases the sensation. Alternatively, to make it more intense, you can scoot the knees a bit further away. And if you want to make this really interesting, then with the palms and the fingertips, you're going to try and separate the hands from one another, meaning you try not to touch the hands to each other. And for some that might be possible, and for others the palms might not even move. But see what you can feel in your shoulders and arms attempting that action. Ugh. Yeah, that's an intense one. All right, scoot your knees closer towards your arms. Come up and out. Let the arms soften. Shoulders relax. Eyes closed for another breath or two. And then you'll make your way into a relaxation position, Shavasana, or maybe a meditative seat. And encourage the arms to be nice and heavy. So whatever you can do to assist with that. You might even come into a position that's similar to what we did at the beginning. You could have a blanket rolled up along the length of the spine, supported with the back of the head. Okay. So let some breath filter into your awareness. Encourage some focus on the exhale breath. Then take your awareness and bring it down towards the hips and the legs, encouraging the entirety of the lower body to ease and soften. aware now of the shoulders and each arm. Inviting the arms and shoulders to do about 5% less. Both arms and both legs fully supported. And with each exhale, they can soften a bit more. Notice now the back of the head. Let it weigh into the support. And also become aware of the jaw, the muscles around the temples. And notice what it would be like to encourage relaxation there. With your whole body invited to be at ease, can you bring awareness back to the exhale and watch? Watch the body with each exhale. Notice how you feel here in your body right now, any kind of mood or sensation that's apparent. You can let your intention filter in. You're more than welcome to stay as you are and to continue resting. You could finish like this. Or instead, you're welcome to come up towards a seated position. Either way, we'll all take a moment for gratitude. Calling to mind what it is that you might feel grateful for in this moment, whatever it may be. Thank you for joining today, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon and evening, and I'll see you next time.